Hi, everybody. This is Michael Levitas from jurisq.com with a personal injury attorney in Dayton, Ohio, Kevin Attkisson. Kevin, welcome back. It's a pleasure to have you.
Hi, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you. In our previous sessions, we were educating our viewers on truck accidents in Ohio, motorcycle accidents, different nuances. We talked about possible defendants whom you can sue after a vehicle accident in Ohio. Now let's talk about what you can sue for. Okay, what can you sue for after a car accident in Ohio?
Okay, so in specifically motor vehicle accidents, first and foremost, you've got an at-fault driver who's responsible for damages caused by their negligence, and the damages fall into many different categories. And we'll put one aside here. Obviously, if your car's been damaged, okay, you can sue for the damage to your vehicle, and you'd be entitled to a rental and all that. And I believe we talked about in a previous session about the diminished value claim. That is, if your car has been damaged and then repaired, it still carries a stigma with it in terms of somebody's going to get a Carfax when you try to sell it, and your vehicle is worth less after even if it's been repaired back to its previous condition, it still has a stigma and it has less of a value. So there's a diminished value claim. All of those things fall under the category of what I call property damage or vehicle damage. So let's put that aside. Then you have your bodily injury claim. Okay. And you're entitled to compensation for your bodily injury claim. And then the bodily injury claim is broken up into categories as well. We have two main categories of damages under bodily injury claims in the state of Ohio. One is what we call economic loss, okay? Economic loss are all the things that we can add up the dollars with, okay? I can get out my calculator and I can figure out what somebody's economic loss is. They have medical expenses, okay? They have lost wages. They have maybe there's been harm done to their business and their business is losing money if they're self-employed. So those types of things, again, medical bills, lost wages are the main categories. Those are the economic losses. And I can actually, if you're working a job at a business and you're an hourly employee and you're off for a month, we can do the math on that. If you were to work 40 hours a week at X number of dollars an hour, we can do the math on that. Again, that's the economic loss that we can figure out with a calculator.
Kevin, I have a question. Do you ever have to bring in an expert to calculate the value of somebody's future work potential?
Absolutely, positively. Okay, we have vocational experts who can determine somebody's and look, we like people to get better. Okay, we like, if they're hurt, we want them to get better. But sometimes people don't get better, and disability can last a lifetime. And it can affect their earning capacity for the rest of their earning lifetime, okay? And so we have experts that we bring in, both vocational experts, that is to determine how is this person's earning capacity or their physical ability to do jobs diminished, and then an economic expert who will actually do the math on that and figure out, okay, not just, okay, the next, 30 years or whatever the person's remaining working life is, but also they account for inflation, interest, and increase in pay over the years, and excelling in your job and your earning capacity. So we have experts to talk about those types of things as well. That is not just the past earning loss, but the future as well.
It's good that you have access to such great experts, but they sound expensive. Who would pay for such experts?
They are expensive, but they're well worth the money. If someone has a catastrophic injury that's going to cause them a lifetime of lost income. But my law firm has relationships with such experts, and we rely on them, and we actually retain them, and we pay their fees so that we can fully pursue somebody's damages. So we take care of the cost up front of those experts. And just one more thing under the category of economic loss, and then we'll talk about the other main category, which is non-economic loss. But there could be a potential of somebody needing, not just I'm not earning as much in the future, but maybe I'm going to have medical expenses in the future and other needs throughout my life. We hire what's called a life care planner who can evaluate those types of things as well. That is, certain needs that the person's going to have because of their injuries in the future to include medical expenses and things like that down the road. So we also, and that type of expert we call a life care planner. And we also have relationships with people like that, and we will pay their fees up front. So that takes care of broadly economic loss. Again, the things you can add up with a calculator. And then the other main category is non-economic loss. Those are the more intangible things that don't have specific value. Okay, if you need an MRI costs X number of dollars, but my pain and suffering is something much more intangible. And the way
how
the
do you
law,
calculate that?
it's very difficult. And the way the law works in Ohio is if somebody's got an injury, it's how that injury affects that specific person. It's not how it would have affected me or somebody else or anybody else, but how was our particular injury victim, my client, affected? How did they experience the pain? What did it mean to them? How was their life affected? So it's very individualistic, okay? And we need to make sure that we stress that when we're arguing these cases to a jury or negotiating with an insurance company, so that they fully understand how our client's life was affected. Insurance companies tend to be very cold and analytical, and they think everybody is the same. But we have to stress to them that different people are affected in different ways. So you have pain and suffering that affects somebody. Obviously, if you're living with pain, then that's going to affect your life, okay? You can also have disability that will fall under non-economic. If my leg is injured and I have to limp around for the rest of my life, that's going to affect me and my ability to do things that I like to do. It's going to affect me for the rest of my life. It's going to affect me when I want to do things in my retirement years. And we have to think of all of that stuff and make sure that it's all accounted for. Okay. Now, obviously, again, we want people to get better, and most people, you get hurt, you have a period of pain and maybe some physical limitation that lasts for a while, and then you get better. And we want to account for the non-economic loss during that time. But if it lasts on for a lifetime, then we need doctors to tell us, and we hire these experts as well, to tell us this is the person's injury. They are going to experience pain. They are going to have physical limitations. And we even hired doctors who can do what we call an impairment rating, and that's very specific in the law and in medicine, where they determine a percentage of disability, of bodily disability that a person might suffer, and it's done with very specific guidelines with the American Medical Association.
Right.
And so we get experts to help us understand the amount of disability that somebody's going to have. And again, it's my pain that I'm going through, it's my disability that I'm going through, but it's also how it's affected my life, what it prevents me from doing. What did I like to do before? Was I a runner and now I can't run?
Of course.
Did I like to go hiking? Now I can't hike. I mean, and those are just like examples. It could be anything and any way that your life is affected. And I always like to tell my clients, you know what? We always tend to focus on the fun things that you like to do, but what about the not so much fun things that you're not able to do? You're not able to clean your house. You're not able to mow your lawn. You're
Right.
not able to do, things that you need to do that we all do in our normal everyday lives that are affected by these injuries
Absolutely,
put upon you by somebody else's negligence. And so we need to make sure that we account for all of those types of injuries. So the other category that I want to mention really quickly that can be part of a lawsuit and part of a personal injury claim is what we call loss of consortium. Okay, that is a spouse. Okay, if somebody is injured, it affects them obviously personally, but it can affect their spouse as well. Okay, and that's what we call a loss of consortium claim. And it's a pretty broad category, but that's an independent claim for the spouse. That we call it's a derivative claim, that it arises from somebody else's injury, but they're married, they're spouses, and a spouse can be affected by injuries that were done to their husband or wife.
The big takeaway here for me is how complicated it is to prove a claim and get just compensation. It's not as simple as calling the insurance company, hello, I'm your client, I was injured, can you please send me a check? It doesn't work this way. You have to have an attorney that is being taken seriously, right, by the other side, by the insurance company, that they know that you know what you're doing, you have experience, you have wins under your belt, and they better take care of your client or else.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just one more point really quickly. And you brought up something very important, that you need to be able to present your claim. As the injury victim, as broadly in litigation terms, the plaintiff, the one bringing the claim, we have what's called the burden of proof. They don't have to prove anything. They don't have to prove you weren't hurt. They don't have to prove you didn't have pain. We have the burden to prove everything that happened to our client. They have to prove nothing. So that is our burden, and we take it very seriously and make sure that all aspects of somebody's injury claim is covered and is proven to the insurance company, and if necessary to a jury.
Yeah, that's why you want to have an attorney like Kevin Attkisson on your side when filing a claim for personal injury case in the state of Ohio. Kevin, again, thank you so much for spending the time, taking the time of your busy schedule, litigating cases, representing your clients, to come to us to educate our viewers in Ohio on personal injury cases. And you bet we're gonna bring you back next month for more interesting, and not only interesting, I would say we bring law to life over here, right? Law could be mundane, it could be a little bit boring at times, but what we do is we give you real life examples, and we show you how personal injury law can affect your claim and your life and your future compensation. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Until next time, Kevin, I appreciate it. Have a good day.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.